Major funding for KPBS Evening Edition has been made possible in part by Bill Howe Family of Companies, providing San Diego with plumbing, heating, air, restoration, and flood services for over 40 years. Call 1-800-BILL-HOWE or visit billhowe.com. And by the Conrad Trebas Foundation, Darlene Marco Shiley, and by the following. And by viewers like you. Thank you.
The U.S. Navy continues to enforce a blockade of Iranian ports. Thank you for joining us. I'm Maya Trabulsi. On Sunday, a San Diego-based destroyer fired on an Iranian cargo ship attempting to run the blockade. KPBS military reporter Andrew Dyer has details of this rare ship-to-ship engagement.
Motor vessel Tosca, vacate your engine room. Vacate your engine room. We're prepared to subject you to disabling fire.
The radio message from the destroyer USS Spruance is clear. The warship is about to fire on the cargo ship, the MV Tosca. The ship's horn sounds its final warnings. Then 3 shots from the destroyer's 5-inch gun. The Pentagon says after the ship was disabled, Marines from the USS Tripoli boarded and seized the vessel. Brad Martin served 30 years in the Navy as a surface warfare officer. He says the rounds fired from the Spruance were inert.
It's not intended to explode. It is intended only to penetrate. And when the 5-inch round goes through the hull of the ship that hits parts of the engine room, it will disable the engine.
Martin now works as a senior policy researcher at the RAND Corporation. He says it's rare for a U.S. warship to engage in hostile fire on another ship.
It's not common. They haven't had to do that a lot in the last 40 years. Conventional naval warfare is not something that we've done in a long time.
Military officials say the Iranian ship is in U.S. custody. Iran is accusing the U.S. of maritime piracy. The Spruance is a guided missile destroyer based in San Diego. It deployed to the Middle East in January as part of the aircraft carrier Abraham Lincoln Strike Group. 2 of the 10 destroyers involved in the Iran war are based in San Diego. The USS Pinckney is also in the area. Each destroyer has a crew of around 350 sailors. Martin says the Navy has come to rely on them.
Destroyers are the workhorse of the U.S. Navy. They are everywhere doing all kinds of things.
The incident threatens to further strain another round of peace talks between the U.S. and Iran set to begin in Pakistan Tuesday. Andrew Dyer, KPBS News.
Well, most of California is going to see some meaningful rain and in the mountains some snow, but maybe not us. Our best chance is going to be Tuesday night. A couple of brief sprinkles or showers to the north will be moving through. Tonight, though, fairly quiet. 47 in Ramona, 57 Borrego Springs, 59 into San Diego. Look at this, though. This is pretty decent after that very warm, dry March. April serving us pretty well here with some rounds of rain and mountain snow, mainly to our north. We'll take a look at future radar in just a bit.
The Imperial County Sheriff's Office has arrested a 22-year-old from El Centro for threatening a local data center developer. KPBS reporter Corey Suzuki has more.
In a statement Friday, county officials alleged the resident made explicit threats of violence against the developer in an anonymous post on Facebook. County officials didn't specify what those threats were and did not respond to questions. The arrest comes amid heated resistance to a massive AI data center complex planned in the center of the Imperial Valley. Dennis Marita is the city manager of Imperial, which is suing the county over the project. At a community town hall last week, Marita said residents should discourage anyone from resorting to violence.
To have a conversation with somebody, you would consider that as a strategy. I would encourage you to encourage them to engage, as you have all intended to do tonight.
The rapid expansion of the AI industry has drawn intense and growing backlash across the country, including some acts of violence. Earlier this month, someone fired shots at the door of a city council member in Indiana. Days later, a man threw a Molotov cocktail at the home of OpenAI CEO Sam Altman in San Francisco. Corey Suzuki, KPBS News.
Mayor Todd Gloria formally presented his budget proposal to the San Diego City Council today. Departments like San Diego Fire aren't going unscathed. In the mayor's proposal, the fire department would have a budget of over $547 million. That's actually up $27 million from last year. But it still comes with some losses, including cutting a community resource captain, a fire academy instructor, a recruitment officer, and bomb squad staffing.
One fire engine will be shut down downtown if there's a bomb incident. But then there's the other side of that, where say you've got a suspicious package at the airport, but the bomb squad is on a fire. It could be who knows how long before they can cut those resources loose from that existing emergency.
Gloria says this budget proposal will prevent fire stations from closing and prevent brownouts. The mayor's budget proposes a series of cuts for the next year. KPBS education reporter Katie Anastas says youth advocates are asking city leaders to preserve funding for libraries, parks, and recreation centers.
This is the start of a multi-month process.
Mayor Todd Gloria presented his budget proposal to the San Diego City Council today. He says inflation, infrastructure needs, and slow revenue growth have led to a $118 million deficit. He says all city departments will face cuts to fill that gap.
These decisions are not easy, and they will have impacts on all of us, but they are necessary to protect core services and meet our legal obligation to pass a balanced budget.
The proposal cuts operating hours and staff in both the library and parks and recreation departments. It also eliminates the Office of Child and Youth Success. That office advocates for youth and families in city planning and seeks grants to support the city's youth programs. Advocates spoke against those cuts earlier today.
Mayor Todd Gloria keeps saying that he is investing in the youth and that he cares about the youth. We are asking you to prove it during this budget season.
City leaders cited a survey that found San Diego residents want to protect police and fire rescue services from budget cuts. Michelle Woodson is the legal director for Pillars of the Community. She says libraries and rec centers help keep youth safe.
True public safety starts long before a crisis. It starts with investments in our youth. It starts with making sure that young people have safe places to go, trusted adults to turn to, and real opportunities to grow.
The City Council will hold Budget Review Committee hearings the first week of May. Gloria will release a revised budget proposal in mid-May. The City Council is expected to adopt a final budget in June. Katie Anastas, KPBS News.
California's primary election is weeks away, and in San Diego, 4 seats on the city council will be on ballots. Metro reporter Andrew Bowen joins me from the KPBS newsroom. Hi, Andrew.
Hi, Maya.
So let's start with City Council District 2, if you don't mind. Tell us where it is and who is running.
Yeah, so District 2 includes Claremont, Midway, Ocean Beach, and Point Loma, and this is an open seat since the incumbent Jennifer Campbell is termed out. And with 7 candidates, it is the most crowded primary race in San Diego. I'll start with Nicole Crosby. She's a deputy city attorney, so she works at the city, and she says she knows how to change it for the better. She has racked up the most endorsements by far, including several unions and the County Democratic Party. Josh Coyne also has several high-profile endorsements. He is a former city council staffer, and he currently works for the Downtown San Diego Partnership. Now, he is positioning himself as the most pro-housing candidate, someone who will support policies to build more housing in the effort to lower prices. Richard Bailey is the former Coronado mayor, and he moved to District 2 recently. He is also a former Republican who re-registered as an independent in February. He has some name recognition. He's got a pretty big social media following, but if history is a guide, Bailey faces tough odds, and that's because in 2018, a Republican incumbent in District 2 lost by almost 16 points after her opponent tied her to President Trump. So I think it'll be interesting to watch how the partisan dynamics play out in this race. The other candidates in District 2 are Mandy Havlick, Jacob Mitchell, Mike Rickey, and Paul Suppa. Havlick is a community activist. She ran in this district 4 years ago. The others are newcomers to politics. And Maya, in such a crowded field, it's really tough for any one of these candidates to truly stand out.
It really is a crowded field. So now let's talk about Districts 4 and 6, both have incumbents on the ballot. Who is running there?
Yeah, District 4 covers most of southeast San Diego, and City Council member Henry Foster III is seeking another term. He has a big campaign presence and a good amount of money to spend to get his message out to voters, but he does have two challengers. Martha Abraham, she is a nurse who became a community organizer in response to some large housing developments in the district. And then the third candidate in District 4 is Johnny Lee Dang. Now, District 6 includes Kearny Mesa, Mira Mesa, and University City, and the incumbent there, Kent Lee, is also seeking another term. He has only one opponent, Mark Powell, who is a realtor. And barring any massive write-in campaign, both of these candidates are guaranteed to advance to a runoff election in November.
So now that leaves Council District 8. Where is that district and who's running there?
District 8 is the South Bay District. It includes Logan Heights, San Isidro, and Otay Mesa, and the incumbent Vivian Moreno is termed out. So there are 4 candidates running to replace her. One of them is her chief of staff, Gerardo Ramirez. He has the endorsement of Vivian Moreno, the incumbent, and that of city employee unions. Venus Molina is actually a chief of staff for another council district, but she does have deep roots in District 8. She grew up there and has been involved with many community-based nonprofits there. Rafael Perez is a realtor and an educator. He has also been involved in a lot of those community groups and has been active at the state level getting laws passed to build more starter homes. And Antonio Martinez is a familiar face for many in District 8. He is a San Isidro school board member. He's a former staffer for Congressman Juan Vargas, and he ran in District 8 in 2018 and 2022. So again, District 8 is another crowded primary, and all of the candidates have some degree of political experience and name recognition, so it's hard to say who's got the edge here.
Well, Andrew, that was an excellent breakdown. We really do appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Maya.
For more coverage of the primary on June 2nd, go to kpbs.org/elections.
I'm Amna Nawaz. Tonight on the NewsHour, the fallout from the U.S. attack on an Iranian ship in the Gulf of Oman. That's coming up at 7 after Evening Edition on KPBS.
Gas prices have soared more than 30% since the war with Iran began. The violence has caused a disruption in oil production and shipping, leading to global shortages. But as Jen Sullivan explains, there is some good news for drivers.
Markets opening Monday with oil prices rising, following news that Iran has once again declared the Strait of Hormuz closed. Maritime traffic through this key waterway has virtually halted, further disrupting global oil production.
The longer we wait, the longer flows are restricted from Hormuz, the less supply we have in the market.
Amina Baker, head of Middle East Energy and OPEC Insights at Kepler, says oil traffic will remain impacted.
We are not seeing a resolution to the situation despite all these headlines.
The good news is U.S. gas prices are coming down. As of Monday, the national average for regular gas was $4.04 a gallon, according to AAA. That's already 13 cents below the peak of $4.17 we saw earlier this month.
Prices have likely peaked, and they'll start going down.
But before the war began, gas prices were below $3 a gallon. And while President Donald Trump says he believes prices will fall sooner, the Energy Secretary says it could be a while until drivers see those prices at the pump again.
That could happen later this year. That might not happen till next year.
So why does it take so long for prices to drop dramatically?
Refineries still in the Middle East that provide fuel in areas like Europe may still have some delays before they can really resume operations.
Patrick DeHaan with Gas Buddy says even when the Strait of Hormuz does fully open again, it could take at least several weeks for oil tankers to even get in position to travel through that area. All of that takes time, which is why prices are slowly going to come back down. For Consumer Watch, I'm Jen Sullivan.
Meanwhile, gas prices continue to decline in San Diego County, but they're still well above the national average. Today, it cost $5.85 on average for a gallon of regular gas. The price has dropped 11.5 cents over the past 12 days. A school in southeastern San Diego went without water or had their water supply disrupted 6 times in the past 2 months. District leaders promised fixes would come with new taxes, but for this week's Why It Matters, Voice of San Diego Scott Lewis reports they're now proposing another tax increase.
School district leaders have been promising for years to use bond measures and tax increases to fix water issues at the School for Creative and Performing Arts in Paradise Hills. And voters in the San Diego Unified School District have approved nearly $10 billion of those tax increases for construction costs since 2012. The school, commonly called SCPA, is well known and attracts kids from all parts of San Diego. Tax increases passed, but the school's plumbing wasn't fixed. Each time the bonds and tax increases were proposed, school district leaders specifically promised that SCPA's plumbing would be fixed. In February and March this year, though, the district fully or partially shut off water at the campus 6 times. Now, the district says a fix is coming, but only when it does a full modernization of SCPA's campus, and not until 2028 or 2029. San Diego Unified has raised property taxes for construction bonds 4 times in the last 20 years, and many of the promises in each one just carry over to the next ones. Of the 20 projects for the schools listed on one of the previous bond measures, less than half have been completed. Those include installing a new emergency communication system, electrical upgrades, solar energy systems, and a renovation of the school's performing arts facilities. Now, a San Diego Unified board member has confirmed to Voice San Diego that odds are high, quote, that they will be seeking yet another tax and bond increase on this November's ballot. Board member Richard Barrera told us that ongoing plumbing problems at SCPA are the kind of thing that will make voters want to approve another bond. For Voice San Diego, I'm Scott Lewis, and that's why it matters.
Voice of San Diego is one of our partners for the Public Matters Initiative. You can learn more at kpbs.org/Public Matters. Hundreds of artists, activists, and cultural leaders gathered to protest Mayor Todd Gloria's proposed near elimination of arts and culture funding from the city budget. KPBS arts reporter Julia Dixon-Evans says they call the cuts disproportionate and not a shared sacrifice.
As protesters gathered outside City Hall, a makeshift orchestra performed pep tunes. Organizers put out a call for musicians to bring their instruments less than 48 hours prior. Music from the large group echoed through the plaza as hundreds gathered to protest the mayor's proposed budget. Arts leaders say the proposed budget slashes arts funding by $11.8 million, an 85% reduction.
Look, we understand there's a budget issue. We were not asking for an increase. We were asking for flat funding.
Alessandra Moctezuma is chair of the city's Volunteer Commission for Arts and Culture. She says the drastic cuts will impact essential grant funding for hundreds of arts and culture nonprofits.
This decision came as a complete surprise. It felt like a kick in the gut.
Impacted organizations include Comic-Con, San Diego Pride, and many museums, performing arts groups, and cultural centers.
The art is not just expression. They are how communities find agency, connection, and power. Woo! Yes! The arts are not a luxury. They foster economic growth, but just as importantly, they provide connection, healing, and hope.
Ana Hernandez of Centro Cultural de la Raza says this is especially troubling when paired with public safety increases.
There is evidence nationwide that ballooning police and carceral systems budgets are making us less and less safe. There is also powerful evidence that investing in arts and culture is a public safety strategy.
Next month, the mayor will present a revised budget for a council vote. Julia Dixon-Evans, KPBS News.
Giants, which is art from the Dean collection of Swizz, Beatz, and Alicia keys, is now on display at the Museum of Contemporary Art San Diego. The exhibition kicked off with a pre-opening celebration at the museum. KPBS Midday Edition host Jade Hindman was there.
Opening night of Giants brought a rare experience to San Diego, an opening ceremony and a star-studded pink carpet. Alicia Keys, Swizz, Beatz, and Kelly Rowland were among those in attendance. I spoke with Alicia Keys and Swizz Beatz about Giants.
It's like coming into their homes, which is why in the beginning of the show you see how we started from her piano and my drum machine and the bikes and even the self-portraits that make people feel like, okay, we're in a safe space and this is our family.
The more than 130 works of art feature Black American and diasporic artists from Africa, Europe, the U.S., and the Caribbean. Cultural connection and a call to action is the muse behind many pieces, including this conceptual work by Hank Willis Thomas.
I mean, you know, it's the piece in the exhibition that is an X is actually all of these inmate uniforms.
Yeah.
And he created, you know, how the concept of how you don't have a name, you know, that's yours. And I mean, he's so.
And then for the sculpture Strike to be right next to it, which is based on police brutality, is unbelievable pairing. I didn't even think to pair those two up together like that. So it was
really smart, really smart.
You'll not only find the Dean collection in Giants, you'll also see pieces from local artists like Chata, MJ, and Oscar, whose art is featured in the Hometown Heroes installation.
We feel super connected to this city, and we're so excited about just all the diversity on the walls.
Hometown Heroes. We just added Hometown Heroes to this show. It's another thing to highlight in our personal collection, but it's another thing to highlight some of the creatives that, you know, built this city and all of those places.
Giants is on display at the Museum of Contemporary Art San Diego through August 9th. For KPBS News, I'm Jade Hindman.
Well, we have an active forecast for most of California. We'll be on the southern fringe of the impact area where there will be some showers to the north and maybe a stray shower or two Tuesday night for us. It'll be breezy out there. A storm system passes to our north, maybe a stray shower Tuesday night. We'll look at future radar in a moment, and it'll be a comfortable late part of the week before even another chance for showers for some of us coming in this weekend. Tonight, 59 degrees, partly cloudy skies, and here it is Tuesday, pretty decent storm system to our north, soaking rain, even a thunderstorm possible in San Francisco, in the Central Valley, down to the San Joaquin Valley. Even some snow will break out into the Sierra, but for us, you could see the bulk of the action really is to our north. So during the day, windy weather into the mountains and the canyons and the passes, and an increasing bit of cloud cover here as this system draws near. But let's take a look at future radar and satellite. We'll press pause Tuesday afternoon. Here we go through the morning hours. It's all to our north. Into the afternoon, a couple of showers around Los Angeles. We're still dry. Clouds increase into Orange County. And here's our opportunity for some scattered or spotty showers Tuesday evening into the overnight. It doesn't look widespread, but there will be a little bit of action out there. So we're going to hope for some rain, as long as you don't have to do anything that's requiring dry weather. This is a net win for us here, mitigating a little bit of fire danger. And again, any rain this time of the year is a good thing before we really commit to the dry season, which is inevitably coming soon. Windy out there for Wednesday, though, will be drier by then. So here's the big picture for the storm system. Meaningful snow in the Sierra, decent rain showers and thunderstorms into parts of the Central Valley, the San Joaquin Valley. Here are the showers in L.A. And you can see we're kind of painting this up with us just kind of on that razor-sharp pinch point with showers north, but not necessarily for all of us. And when we do see showers, and if we do see showers, it would be kind of lost between these daytime, Tuesday daytime, Wednesday daytime forecasts. Tuesday night is our opportunity. And then clouds sticking again at the end of the week. We get a little cooler for Saturday, and we may even see some showers in inland areas Friday into Saturday out of that. But again, in the short term, Tuesday night would be our opportunity for a brief shower in inland areas. Into the mountains, windy out there, cool as well, if not cold for mid to late April, upper 40s for highs late in the week. And then we go into the deserts here, and again, comfortable weather for the most part, avoiding any searing heat. Maybe a stray sprinkle Tuesday night. Pretty decent day Wednesday, cooler behind that front. And then again, a little cool again into Saturday with another system bringing us a pretty healthy onshore flow that will even bring some cooling into the interior. I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Jeff Cornish for KPBS News.
Some wine might not be as American as you may think, and now there's a bill in California that focuses on changing wine regulations to help growers. Danzin Cortez reports.
This is the worst it's ever been.
I've never seen it this bad before.
A stark warning from California's wine country.
If you drive around, you can see vineyards that haven't been pruned. There's a lot of dead vines in there.
Steve Felton, a fifth-generation grape grower, says demand has shifted, not in their favor.
Instead of, buying grapes from growers here in Lodi and throughout California, actually, they stopped and found cheaper wine.
He says more grapes are going unsold as some large beverage companies turn to cheaper imported options.
You don't see French wine with Australian wine in it. You don't see Italian wine with Chilean wine in it.
At the center of the issue, what can legally be called American wine in the state of California? According to federal rules, American labeled wine only needs to have 75% of U.S. grown grapes, with the rest allowed to come from imported sources.
It says American Merlot, so we don't know where that's coming from.
A new assembly bill would change all that, requiring wine sold in California and labeled American to be made with 100% U.S. grown grapes.
Just call it table wine, call it something else, but don't call it American wine when it's 25% imported.
Large beverage companies, however, arguing the bill would take away critical flexibility in case of climate events or a shift in consumer demand.
Well, the flexibility, as far as theirs is concerned, is that they can bring in this cheap wine and keep their price down.
It's not the silver bullet that's going to fix things, but, the wine industry has really been struggling over the last few years.
What's your hope out of this bill?
That anything that says American on the label is 100% U.S., 100% American. I think will force wineries to start looking at grapes again in California instead of foreign wine. So that's what we all hope.
You can find tonight's stories on our website, kpbs.org. Thanks for joining us. I'm Maya Trabulsi. Good night.
Major funding for KPBS Evening Edition has been made possible in part by Bill Howe Family of Companies, providing San Diego with plumbing, heating, air, restoration, and flood services for over 40 years. Call 1-800-BILL-HOWE or visit BillHowe.com. And by the Conrad Prebys Foundation, Darlene Marcos Shiley, and by the following. By viewers like you. Thank you.